welcome to Sports Take. I'm your host, Ariel Epstein, here with Connor DeKranis and Darius Donaldson. We're here today, and we have lots of stories in store for you, so let's just get going.
Let's do it.
You ready, guys?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so starting off with Major League Baseball. They're in the playoff season right now, but before we get to that, the storyline is Joe Girardi. Where is he going to go? The Cubs want him, the Yankees want him, and which one do you guys think will be the smarter decision for the manager?
I'm a strong believer in the fact that he's going to stay with the New York Yankees. He has too much history with them. He has 3 rings as a player, 1 as a manager in 2009. And, I mean, he's already making $3 million a year there. And earlier today, he met with the Yankees, and they told him that they would give him a substantial raise. So,
yeah, I agree. I think Girardi has so much history with the Yankees. It's going to be hard to just kind of leave all that behind. And I think he'll ultimately stay with the Yankees.
and also, like, in 2008, when he took the job, he called it his dream job.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to go anywhere else if that's your dream job?
Well, he did go to college in Chicago. He grew up in Chicago, so...
And he was also drafted by the Cubs.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys think that the smarter decision would be for him to stay in New York?
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Also for his family.
And also because he's going to probably get a lot of money from... I mean, it is the Yankees.
He'll get more than enough money.
They pay handsomely.
Okay, moving on. So, we had 2 wild card games the other night. Starting off with the American League, Tampa Bay versus Cleveland. Tampa Bay shut him out 4-0. Let's start off with asking, is Terry Francona, do you think he did a good job this season? Do you think that the Indians did better, worse, or the same as their expectations?
Oh, I think Francona did an amazing job this season. I mean, it's in the numbers. They went 92-70 this season, improving over a 68-94 season in 2012. So just by looking at the numbers, you can already tell. I mean, they did a great job.
Oh, so yeah, you can't lie about the numbers. The numbers are there. It's facts.
And you think that they'll come back better next season?
Yeah, I'm a strong believer that in the Indians right now. I think the next few years are going to be very, very fortunate for them.
On the rise.
With Francona, I think he will definitely make that franchise his own, just like he did with the Red Sox for so many years. He's a top-ranked manager in the MLB. So how far do you think Tampa Bay is going to go?
I don't think they're going to get past the Red Sox.
Yeah, I like the Red Sox. The way they're playing now, it's going to be tough to beat them, I think.
I'm going to take the Red Sox in either 4 or 5, to be completely honest.
4 or 5?
Yep.
Okay.
Darius?
Okay.
What do you think, Darius?
I'm going to say 6, maybe. I don't know about 4 or 5. It's going to be a good series, though. Oh, yeah.
You have the game tomorrow night at 5:30 in Boston. Matt Moore for Tampa Bay, John Lester for the Red Sox. Game 1. Who do you think's going for it in Boston? Who do you think's winning?
I'm going to stick with my Red Sox sweep, and I'm going to go with John Lester.
John Lester?
Yeah, John Lester getting the decision.
Okay.
The Rays are hot. They've been hot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so next. American League, Tigers Athletics, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. You have one of the best pitchers on the mound, Verlander versus Gray. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I like the Tigers in this one.
I'm going to have to go with the Tigers, too.
For the game or the series?
I'm going to take them for both.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the Athletics have had a great past few seasons, had a great season this year, 96-66, with the Tigers going 93-69. I mean, they both had great records. It's going to be a close series. Might go all 5.
All 5?
Yep.
Okay.
Darius, do you agree?
I do agree. I like the Tigers. And I think they're going to get it done, get the job done. Oh, yeah.
And moving on to National League. We had Cincinnati versus the Pirates in the wild card game. Pittsburgh won 6-2. The big storyline here, guys, was with Johnny Cueto dropping the ball, then giving up the home run to Russell Martin because the fans were just so loud in Pittsburgh. How do you guys feel about that one?
I absolutely love the Pirates right now.
I mean,
they haven't
fans are in it.
They haven't been to a postseason since 1992.
Long time coming.
A very, very long time. And it's one of those stories that just carries you through the playoffs. You see it in every single sport. And I think it's going to be the same thing. I have them going to the World Series.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely, as a Pittsburgh native, it's crazy in town. And we're so excited. You know what I mean? So it'll be great to see the Pirates do well.
And the great thing, too, is with the talent on their team, even if it's not this year, you better believe they're going to be back in the same position next year.
And to be honest, they've already exceeded, I think, a lot of people's expectations thus far.
Oh, for sure.
So
They're definitely building up their franchise. They were on tonight. There's a game still on. You have Burnett versus Wainwright. Burnett gave up, I'm pretty sure it's 7 runs in the 3rd inning. And
They look terrible.
how do you guys feel? Do you still believe in the Pirates right now?
I mean, the game actually just concluded, and the Cardinals won 9-1. So, I mean, I had the game going all 5, but I had the Pirates ultimately coming out on top.
yeah, same here.
They're such an exciting team, too, and I think they're just going to take their fans' energy. And I mean, these first 2 are going to be tough because they're out in St. Louis. Yep. But once they come back to Pittsburgh, you better believe that the fans are going to be all over the Cardinals.
Yeah, PNC is going to be on the edge.
So who do you think they're going to play, Braves or Dodgers? They play tonight at 8:30. Chris Medlin on the mound and Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw is pretty dominant lately.
I mean, the Dodgers had a pretty slow drop-off to the end of their season. I think they were trying to rest a lot of players. They were trying to gear up for the postseason. They're gearing up right now to try to make a run.
Yeah,
They have championship in sight.
They were one of the hottest teams at the end of August to September.
Yeah, once the end of September hit, they dropped off. But, I mean, like I said, they're just resting players. They're trying to get ready for the series against the Braves, and I think the Dodgers are going to ultimately take it.
Yeah, the Dodgers are going to do what it takes.
World Series predictions and the World Series winner. Darius, who do you think?
Got to go my hometown, Pittsburgh Pirates, man.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Playing
Optimistic fans. They can play the Dodgers probably. I think I like the Dodgers the way in the direction that they're headed in, and
who? Connor, what do you think?
A little bit of a mix-up. I mean, they can't play the Dodgers, but it's okay. It's okay. I think the Boston Red Sox are going to end up winning the World Series. Their third one since 2004. They're such a hot team right now, but I also think that it will be the Pirates standing right next to them in the World Series.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break right here, and we'll be right back to talk about the NHL. And we're back on Sports Take. I'm your host, Ariel Epstein, here with Connor DeKranis and Darius Donaldson. We're going to talk about the NHL a little bit. There's a new playoff format this season, so we're going to ask Connor to explain a little bit of it right now.
Yeah, the NHL introduced a new playoff format this year. They split the 2 conferences into 4 divisions, 2 in the West Conference and 2 in the East Conference. The Pacific, Central in the West, and the Metropolitan and the Atlantic in the East. I know, really creative names. What they did was they have 7 teams in each the Pacific and the Central, and 8 teams in each the Metropolitan and the Atlantic. And the Red Wings and the Columbus and Columbus moved to the East, while Winnipeg moved to the West. So basically, they're trying to reformat the league. They're trying to move teams around. What they're really trying to do long term is have teams in the same time zone, so when they play each other, they don't have to travel too far. Also, what they're trying to introduce is every team will play every other team at least once, which is awesome for the fans because they get to see new faces in their stadiums, and it's just going to be an awesome experience for them.
And do you think that this new format is fair?
At the current time, I do not think it's fair.
Why is that?
Because of the fact that there's 8 teams in the Eastern there's 16 teams in the Eastern Conference and only 14 in the Western Conference. That means that I forgot to mention. Let me mention this real quick. That 3 teams from each division will move on to the playoffs, and then the last 4 spots will be wild card spots, and they go to the next best 4 teams according to points. So, having said that, the East it's a lot harder to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference than it is in the Western Conference, because there's 2 more teams. You have 2 more teams to beat out.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the future, the NHL is looking to expand. They're looking to add 2 teams, potentially in Seattle and Quebec City. Okay. And they're looking to do that relatively soon because, like I said, they're trying to fix this problem. Because I think if you work out percentages, there's a 50% chance you make the playoffs in the West, and there's like a 54% chance in the East.
So for this season, though, it's just not fair for the East.
Yeah, it's not fair for the East.
What made you think that they made this decision to do this?
I mean, like I said, I think they just wanted to really try to make it easier on the players because with the NHL, obviously, you have a lot of Canadian teams. You have teams all over the country, multiple teams on the West Coast, multiple on the East, a lot in the right smack dab in the middle of the United States. It's a lot of travel. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to put less strain on the players and have them travel less miles.
Okay. Moving on to Patrick Raw, fined $10,000 by the NHL, and most of us must have seen last night after his coaching debut how he went very violent on the side. So, what do you guys think about this fine?
I was watching the game live and I loved it. I was laughing.
It's great for hockey fans.
I was having a great time. What do you think, Darius?
I don't agree. I think that if you're yelling on the sideline, it's distracting. I think it's distracting. It's taking away from the game itself. It's taking away from the fans' experience. I don't think anyone really wants to see that going on the sideline. Maybe save it for the locker room, I think.
I mean, the only thing is, the game had ended. Raw was a little upset with what a Ducks defenseman had done to one of his own players, so he started yelling at the Ducks defenseman. And obviously, Bordeaux had a really hard time with this. And I don't fault him at all because I agree that as an opposing coach, you should not be yelling at the other team's players. That's like an unwritten rule. It shouldn't happen. But at the same time, you have to know the history of Patrick Raw. I mean, he's one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. He's also one of the most superstitious athletes of all time. He used to talk to goalposts. He's a crazy, crazy dude. So it did not surprise me at all when he went off and tried to push over the partition and actually push it over. I don't know if the NHL's holding it up with tape.
Do you think that it was something that he should have done, though, during his coaching debut?
I actually kind of like it. I like it because the Avalanche are trying to return to their stature when Raw played for them, actually. They're trying to return to that. And they won handily 6-1.
Exactly.
And it's just going to pump up the team.
I agree. I think that a head coach definitely has a lot to do with how a team's going to produce throughout the season. And if he's very into the game like that, that gets the players pumped up. All right, Darius, the time you've been waiting for. Moving on to the NBA. Michael Jordan says the only player who would have the chance to beat him is Kobe Bryant. Do you agree?
I agree. I think Kobe is an amazing player. That speaks for itself. And Michael Jordan, I think he's saying that because it's just a little bit of respect. He's showing a little bit of respect to Kobe by saying he may or may not beat him. And I think it's great. I enjoy it. Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time.
This is one of the greatest myths in all of the National Basketball Association. We will never find out if any current generation players will be able to have beaten Michael Jordan. We'll just never know. Everyone's just going to throw their opinions back and forth. No one's really going to be right.
And that's why we have to have fun with this. You know,
exactly. So other than, let's say, Kobe Bryant, each of you name one player that you think could have beaten Michael Jordan, if any could have.
Go ahead, Darius. You got this one.
If anyone could beat Michael Jordan, who would it be?
Other than yourself.
Yeah, I'd take him. But I guess we got to talk about the greatest right now, and that's LeBron James. I do not think that he would beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. I don't think that he has the abilities. He is a God-gifted, talented athlete, but nah.
See, I'm gonna go the opposite way on this one. I'm also gonna say LeBron, but I'm gonna say that if these two play 10 times, LeBron's gonna win 6 of the times.
6 out of 10?
He's gonna slightly edge him out.
No way.
Listen, Darius. Listen.
With Michael Jordan and LeBron in their prime, you can't say LeBron right now playing Michael Jordan because remember,
both
LeBron's playing.
LeBron a few years ago.
Michael Jordan was unguardable in his time. Unguardable.
See, but that's where I feel like LeBron could step up. LeBron is a competitor. LeBron is a better defensive presence than Jordan ever was.
I don't know. I think Jordan...
And LeBron could also put up the points.
He would get shut down.
Oh, really?
Offensively, LeBron would get shut down by Michael Jordan, yes. Shut down.
I just want to throw out one other name that might be able to take a Jordan on, but would only win 1 out of 10, if that. How do you feel about KD, Kevin Durant?
See, KD is unique because he has the reach. He's so tall and long. It would be tough for Jordan, who's 6'6". It would be tough for him to kind of contest any shots. That would be a good one. That's interesting.
Yeah, because Durant can knock it down from the outside, and there's no way Jordan's going to be able to elevate.
Yeah, but strength-wise, KD's not going to be able to do anything on the defensive end to stop Jordan.
That's very true. The only thing he's going to be able to do is get a hand in his face. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. He's going to get bullied.
And what about, do we think that Jason Collins, the player that came out recently, do you think that he'll be picked up by an NBA team this season? And if so, why and by who? Who needs him?
All right, well, this is the thing with Jason Collins. Everyone's going to come out and say that no team's going to pick up 34-year-old Jason Collins because of the fact that he's gay. I do not agree with that at all. Collins has been on the decline the last couple years, and like I said, he's 34. He hasn't been a major pawn in any NBA team's rotation for the last 6 seasons. What I hate about the situation is that no team is going to pick him up, and then on every single sports talk show, you're going to hear, oh, so-and-so didn't pick up Jason Collins because he's gay, because he's gay, because he's gay. And that's not it. It's not because he's gay. It's not because of his sexual orientation. It's because he can't play the game of basketball at the same level he did in the past.
I agree.
Having said that, though, if one team was to pick him up, I'm going to have to go with my Brooklyn Nets.
What do you think, Darius?
He can back up KG, huh? Yeah, I think Jason Collins, he's going to have a tough time finding a home in the NBA. Not because of anything that went on with him coming out and him being like one of the the first active athlete to come out?
Yeah, first active.
Yeah, so I just don't see him being able to assist any team at this time, you know what I mean? A lot of teams stacked up. I don't think he can really contribute much.
Do you think that anything will happen mid-season?
Mid-season, you never know. Injuries happen, things happen. Maybe someone needs a backup forward, center, anything like that.
Yeah, that's where his greatest chance lies right now, mid-season. No one's going to pick him up preseason. I can't see it happening. But like Darius just said, a lot of injuries in the NBA. Yep. A lot of players go down, small rosters. Sometimes you need to be able to pick somebody up who can make at least a little bit of a difference.
And he's been in the league. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a veteran. He knows.
And injuries are big right now in the NBA. Kobe, D. Rose.
Huge.
Lots of Westbrook is down.
It's almost like guess who's the next superstar is going to go down.
Yeah, you never know.
True. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we're going to come right back with the NFL. Big storylines, big signs.
Is Major League Baseball going downhill?
Is Victor Cruz an elite wide receiver?
Are the Miami Heat poised for a three-peat?
Want to get up to date on the latest sports news and updates?
Tune in to the Empire State Boys,
where Nasser Monayer
and Dan Correa
will break down the hottest news and sports in New York and throughout the whole nation,
along with adding insight on upcoming games and events in the sports arena.
Every Thursday,
3:30 p.m. on Com Radio.
And we're back on Sports Take. I'm your host, Ariel Epstein, here with Connor DeKranis and Darius Donaldson. We're here to talk about the NFL now. Freeman, out of Tampa, big storyline this week. He was treated with Adderall for ADHD and took some Ritalin that showed up positive on the drug test. So there's a lot of controversy in Tampa, and they didn't feel like dealing with it. So Tampa decided to call all 31 teams in the NFL to see if they'll make a trade. Nobody wanted him, so Tampa kind of just let him go. Do you think that he will be able to sign with another NFL team this year? He also is getting his full paycheck right now and has the ability to sign with anyone he wants.
This is very sad. This is sad to see. I know when they drafted him 5 years ago that he was supposed to be the face of the franchise. He was supposed to be that guy. Coming into this year, he was going to be that guy. And it's unfortunate to see this happen to him. He wasn't producing on the field either, despite all the off-the-field issues. I feel like Tampa Bay had to make this move, and he will not be playing for an NFL team this year.
I think the whole Tampa Bay organization should be absolutely disappointed with itself at this point.
Why's that?
It's been, like Darius just said, he was drafted 5 years ago, expected to be the face of the franchise, and they handled him in the absolute worst possible way they could have. Absolute worst possible way. And the main reason why, head coach Greg Schiano. What's your opinion on Schiano, Darius? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, he wasn't putting his players in a position to where they can succeed. I mean, they have a few weapons down there in Tampa, but I don't believe they were doing everything that they could to get the most out of Freeman, and they kind of just threw him under the bus. I feel like they kind of, in a way, portrayed him, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And he didn't produce into what he should have been. And I think, though, do you think that if there was a chance for him, what team do you think would take Freeman? Who could use him? There's some 0-4 teams out there. There are teams out there with iffy quarterbacks.
I mean, it's a tough position right now, especially where he is with the whole drug test information. I mean,
You don't
I don't
think
know.
anyone would take
I
him
don't think
in?
anyone's going to want to touch him at this point.
maybe he can back up Geno Smith. Who knows?
I mean, I just want to talk about Shiano briefly because
Go for it.
I've had enough of watching him coach the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just think he's a joke.
Mhm.
He's a complete joke. He came out earlier saying that before he came into the league, the Buccaneers organization was a laughingstock and needed Greg Schiano. That's what he said verbatim.
Wow.
He said in third person, needed
Wow.
Greg Schiano. Okay? With Schiano, they have a win percentage of .350. Okay? With Raheem Morris, their previous coach, .352. So yeah, they needed Greg Schiano.
Is that for Shiano's career in Tampa? or-
Career in Tampa.
And hopefully this organization will turn itself around, and without Freeman, maybe it'll be a way for them to realize that it's their time to start changing.
Yeah, next step is step away from Schiano.
I mean, they're in a tough division. They got some rebuilding to do all around.
Yes. And moving on to the Jets, you have 2 players fined for their hit on Jake Locker. Was the hit fair, or was the fine fair?
I don't see anything wrong with the hit. I watched the hit on sports. It didn't seem malicious or, you know what I mean, or anything like that to me. I don't think.
I mean, the only thing was he came up a little bit high. He caught Locker right underneath the chin. And the way the NFL is going, that's gonna be fined every time. That's the way the NFL is going. I mean, by no means is Wilkerson a dirty player. By no means. So I mean,
Agree.
I think the fine is fair. It's a
It
fair
makes a
number.
point.
It's a fair number. $15K. It's a fair number.
And speaking of the Jets and other teams that, I mean, there are teams that are 0-4 out there, like the Giants and the Steelers, big names that you would never expect to be 0-4.
Good teams. Good teams.
What do you guys think that any of those 0-4 teams can make the playoffs?
No.
Absolutely not. There's been 184 teams that have gone 0-4, and only the 92 Chargers made the playoffs after going 11-1. That's like a 0.54% chance of making the playoffs. So no.
I mean, we know Eli in the past has been able to pull miraculous things in the season to turn around the season, but not this year. No. Steelers, no.
And tonight's game, let's finish off with this. Buffalo at Cleveland, 8:25, right after the show. 2 teams that are unexpectedly hot right now. Who do you think's going to win?
The Browns are hot.
Who do you think's going to win?
They
Who
are,
do you
come
think
on.
is going to take the division? If so,
My God.
do you think either chance is playoff bound?
Neither team is making the playoffs this year. Tonight, though, the Bills will win. Cleveland will lose. Just like their history.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
Sorry,
I
Cleveland
hope there's
fans.
no Cleveland listeners right now. I'm gonna have to take the Browns tonight. I'm gonna go the opposite way.
Oh.
They have a good defense. I see it being a very close game, but I
They
think
are
the
home.
Browns are gonna come out on top.
They're going to key in on their only offensive weapon.
Well, I think that
over.
Buffalo's hot right now. I don't see Cleveland making it all the way to the playoffs in a tough division. But that's all the
Convincing
time.
win against Cincy, though.
What? That's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you all for joining us on Sports Take. I'm